Off to a good start.
Hey, everybody. I'm Mr. Major. This is my wife, Mrs. Major. We are delighted to do a show for you. So, thank you. May we have the name of a play that does not actually exist?
Mr. Butterworth's Triumph.
Mr. Butterworth's Triumph. Thank you. We now present to you the Broadway show, Mr. Butterworth's Triumph.
Mr. Butterworth,
Yes, ma'am.
I believe you'll fail.
Oh.
I believe you'll fail because I've been in this industry for 53 years. You're a newcomer, and you won't make it.
Well, sir, I can tell you only that though you have wounded my pride, I believe you are wrong. I believe that I shall someday achieve a literary agent, and then I shall be published, and that publishment shall be a moderate to serious success.
Mr. Butterworth, I appreciate the vagueness of your prediction. But I, Mr. T. Walker, head of T. Walker Publishing, have seen vagabonds like you walk in, walk out with their coffee table cat books. And you simply don't have what it takes. The whiskers in your book are lacking.
I have almost 1,000 cats in my book.
The spots are in the wrong place. And though they come out of vegetables, the vegetables all look slightly grey and overcooked. They're not the gardeny, fairy-esque vegetables that the people require. It's tough knowing everything, Mr. Butterworth. It's a burden I have to carry.
Well, sir, all I ask is that in 10 years' time you allow me to return to this office with a fresh tome that I may present to you for new judgment.
Well, having been in this industry for 53 years, I'm a very old man. But I eat nothing but liver, so I shall be here.
I wouldn't doubt it, sir.
Good day, sir.
My darling Tabitha, I'm afraid I have some rather poor news to tell you. You see, I finally went to the publishing office today with my tome, cat photos with vegetables, and it went rather more poorly than I hoped it would.
They said it will only be a moderate success.
Would that they had said that. No, my dear, I'm afraid they said it was going to do rather more poorly than that, for indeed they don't plan to publish it at all.
My dear, this is wonderful news.
Wonderful news. I've poured my heart and soul and thousands of hours of posing cats next to vegetables and running back to my camera to photograph them.
But my dear little butterball, don't you see? This is how all the great stories have started. Would little Rumpkins be as adorable as a kitten had he not been found in a garbage can? No!
No, it's quite true.
This is the garbage can of your life, and you shall be made that much more adorable.
Oh, perhaps, like Little Rumpkin, the metatextual context of my story will improve people's perception of my book.
Indeed. We must get through this time together, like the kittens on page 3 romping through the poppies.
I worked so hard on that. They kept falling to sleep.
And your sad little eyes make you so much like the kitten on page 97.
He's born with a birth defect. His eyes look so sad.
So sad.
Well, then I shall start anew, Tabitha. And from this moment, no more shall I be a photographer of cats with vegetables. From this moment, I venture onto a new path as a novelist.
My dear, that is a very bold choice. I approve.
Now please, you must leave me be while I sit at my antique typewriter, inherited from my father, who himself wrote many successful correspondence on it.
Yes, his letter to the wax distributors was most profound.
They sent it back with a secretary's note that said, "We've read this."
Would you like lemonade?
Not until I'm a published author, sweetheart.
No lemonade until you're published, Arthur. My dear, I cannot handle the pressure. I shall leave you be. I will be a supportive wife, but one who frets. I shall have to take up knitting to have something to do with my hands.
All right, my dear.
Adieu, my butterball.
How like a kitten I feel when she kisses me upon the brow. Indeed, how kittenish she makes me feel always. From the moment I met her.
Shall you also be giving up tea?
I couldn't possibly write without tea, my love. So considerate. From the first day that he met her, as he strolled upon the fields of university, how much like a kitten he felt. I tell you, Hogsworth, I'm just not sure. I've been sitting in my office for nigh on months, trying as hard as I can to write a novel. But try as I might, it just keeps coming out a memoir. I attempted to write a chapter in the form of a letter, and it simply became a letter that I then sent to my mother.
I find that the best way to write a book, having been someone who wrote one book in first grade that my teacher said was most excellent.
I remember reading it in about an hour.
She said, dear, I don't think that's quite relevant here.
Nonsense. You may humble brag to me in this moment if you must. My author's ego, though deeply fragile, can take it.
She said, make sure that you use a pencil instead of a crayon so that people can read what you write.
I wish that had been the feedback I'd received. For then there might be some hope that if I wrote it in pencil rather than crayon, someone might wish to read it.
But I believe there's a metaphor in what she was saying if we simply look hard enough.
Oh, I think I see what you mean. For rather than simply writing the story of a young man who falls in love at university to a young woman, perhaps it should be set on Mars as an adventure story.
Yes, for that's much more accessible. Like a pencil. Everyday life is so crayonish, but a pencil.
A pencil? I beg you to finish that metaphor. I beg you to finish that metaphor. A pencil is like what?
A pencil is...
And please, before you finish, I beg you to allow me to use it in my book.
A pencil is like a kitten found in a dumpster. It has use if you simply look hard enough.
That won't fit in my book at all.
Then perhaps you should write
And so, although the young, heroic Martian adventurer was much dismayed by the cruelty of his former friend, he journeyed on and continued to attempt to write a novel. Attempted to overthrow the empire.
Post for you.
Post for me, mailman.
It says here, from a dear friend who became an ex-friend but wishes to be a friend again.
Well, that's remarkably not the appropriate postal code. But still, I can guess, I suppose, who it is. Oh, a scroll. Dearest former friend, who I hope one day to be friends with again. Oh, yes, that matches. I was most uncivil to you. My regrets. And then it's scratched out, but I assume it was Hogarth. Hogsworth. Hogsworth. Have I offended a Hogarth? No, it must be Hogsworth.
P.S. Signed, Hogwarts.
Such a literary name. Oh, it's all quite so cruel. The young adventurer was much jealous of his former, parentheses, and once again, question mark, friends, literary, adventurous name. And so you see, sir, I have brought a new book for you. I rather hope you might read it, sir.
I've installed a door for more grand entrances.
So you see, sir, as I was saying contemplatively in front of your door,
Yes, I use it to intimidate people. Proceed, actually. You haven't finished, so I will.
I wonder if I might beg the favor of reading my book rather sooner than we'd originally said. For you see, it took me only 14 months to write a book. Falling back on old habits, I'm afraid I have inserted a few cat photos in here. Printing them in color would be optional, but I do think it would add a certain something.
Proceed.
Well, sir, it's the story of a young man who, as it happens, is Martian, and meets a young lovely woman at Martian University, who finds him quite kittenish, which is why I included the photos. And they eat vegetables on Mars, as it happens, so I worked in a few vegetable facts from my last book.
Stop right there. I won't mince words. It sounds spectacular. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but there is more than a 2% chance that we shall publish it.
And were I to tell you, sir, that kittenish young adventurer, over the course of a 4-volume series, overthrows an empire?
Were you to think me a hack? I already knew that of course a kitten would overthrow an empire.
Oh, you're quite right. I should have guessed.
And of course, there will be a long-haired princess reminiscent of a Siamese cat.
Siamese cats are short hairs, sir.
I said reminiscent, not exact.
No, you're quite right. You're quite in personality, perhaps. Yes.
Leave something for the reader's imagination, I say.
Of course, sir. Yes, you're quite right. Yes, well, as it happens, There is that young woman who, through a slight rewrite, could be made more Siamese cat-ish.
Well, would you like some lemonade, my secretary? Get some.
Yes, I would. Hobarth, old friend. I have come after receiving your lovely letter. I apologize that it's been a bit since I received it.
3.5 years. You're
Yes,
a timely chap.
Yes, sir. Well, dear friend, may I call you friend, for I hope that we may be again.
But of course, let me kiss your hand.
So literary. Old friend, I have wonderful news. I am now, and have been for the last 3.5 years, the #1 selling author in the world.
Friend, I must tell you, I already knew that. For I have not just 1, but 2 copies of your book. The first edition, where the cat photos were published only in black and white.
A
And
certain
of
charm.
course, the new, proper edition, where they were published in color.
Oh, well, that is truly generous of you, friend. May I present you the 3rd edition? It's 12,000 pages long. For you see, it is all 4 novels interspersed with my original cats and vegetable photos. I have autographed it to you.
I am honored. May I present to you my own novel about our friendship, interspersed with dogs dressed as fruit. You are my inspiration. This whole time, our feud was just to be your muse. For you see, you have always been mine.
Though I have been the #1 selling author in the world for nigh on 3.5 years, I am deeply insecure by this news.
Have I told you too soon? In my book, I was supposed to wait another 2 years to tell you. For, as you see, even though it says on Venus, it is actually rather a memoir.
Give it here at once.
It tells of the future. You cannot read it.
Now, I can see on this one page what a beast you have made me out to be. What an insecure, horrid man this person is.
But